You know that feeling when you get home from a long day and immediately want to take off your bra? Honeys, that's what we call sacrificing comfort. With Honey Love, you'll never experience that again. Their bras are so comfortable, you'll almost forget you're wearing them. You may even sleep in them. My favorite is Honey Love's best selling crossover bra. So comfortable and so sure to be your new go to. This bra gives all the support of traditional bras without using any underwires. Plus, mesh detailing adds a touch of sexy. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. I see away luggage a lot when I travel. And as much as I love its looks, I prefer soft side suitcases and always wished Away made one. Well, guess what? Now they do. This suitcase seriously looks better than any old school soft side suitcases I've seen, and it's designed to be lighter than others on the market. Softside comes in four of Away's best selling sizes and tried and true colors. There is something for everyone in the lineup: two carry on sizes, two check sizes, and four colors: black, blue, pink, my personal favorite, and gray. You got to check out the new Softside luggage from Away. Head on over to awaytravel.com/ratchet. That's awaytravel.com/ratchet to see the new Softside luggage from Away. awaytravel.com/ratchet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. Excuse my voice. I was out gallivanting last night. I'm still in Martha's Vineyard. In fact, I leave today. I'm recording about 2 hours before I head to the airport, so hopefully it gets done on time. My plan is to record now and then edit on the plane and then send it in when I get back to DC. We'll see how that goes. But I had a time. I've had a time for the last week and a half, but I had a time last night. My intention had been to stay in Martha's Vineyard for the week, to go to some fundraisers at some very fancy places. I had the invites, but when I clicked on the link, I realized I didn't have the ends and dividends to attend. I couldn't meet the minimum. Oh dear. I just bought a flight back to South Africa. I'm leaving in 2 weeks, and I paid my housing in advance. So yeah, my coins aren't coining at the moment. Not for that, at least. But I'm so glad I stayed. Last week, I was in the house with six other people. One of them was a friend. She pulled me in, and then it was five other people that I didn't know. All of them were super dope. So it was a really amazing house experience. But they left on Saturday. And then a new set of friends came in this week. So I've been gallivanting. I've been outside, long lunches and very late night dinners, and then party hopping from one thing to the next. I left the house yesterday knowing it was going to be like a New York day, which is one of those like you leave the house at 10 a.m. and you don't make it back until 3 in the morning. It was kind of like that. One of my friends, my brother, CEO, DJ CEO, I've known him 20 years, I guess, but he was spending a party last night. So he came in town and I had lunch with him and his wife and a bunch of their friends, including a friend in the group who he wasn't hitting on me, he was messing with me. And then we ended up having a long conversation later in the evening and I was like, "Sir, sir, sir." He told me he had 9 children by 7 women, but he said it was okay because all of his baby mamas get along. He also told me he thought I was a very nice lady, but he was like, when I meet black women, he was like, I think of them like my sisters. I don't really date black women. He said, only one of my children is by a black woman. That was an accident. He told me he slept with over 4,000 women. And I was like, you do use condoms, right? And he was like, if you really think about the odds, he said, if I only have 9 children by 7 women after sleeping with 4,000 women, he was like, those odds are actually really good when you think about it. And I was like, sir, sir, sir. He said he only dates women for 90 days at a time. He said he's faithful for the whole 90. But he was like, after 90, he loses interest. And he said if he loses interest, then he'll begin to cheat. And he doesn't want to cheat on anybody. He said so people can have their feelings hurt because the situation didn't go beyond 90 days. But they can never say that he was dishonest or he didn't treat them well. He said he's wonderful for 90 days. I sat here and listened to him say that, and I was like, I don't know what you want me to say. He was like, I don't want you to say anything. He's like, I just want you to listen. Oh, he says he's very honest with the women up front. And he was like, just like I'm telling you, like now, he was like, I tell women up front that I'm only available to them for 90 days and then I get bored and move on. And I was like, and women still date you? And he was like, absolutely. He was like, because women think that they can change people. He's like, I tell women that. I tell them about my children. I tell them about my baby mamas. I tell them about, the number of women that I slept with. And I tell them that I'm only available to them for 90 days. And he was like, and they still feel like, well, I could be the best woman that he ever met. I will make the best food. I will fuck him the best. I will have the best conversation. I will have the best energy. I'm that chick, so I could change him. And he was like, and they try. And then, the same thing happens. Like after 90 days, I'm like, well, time's up. I know half the listening audience is like, why are you even holding this conversation? I'm a journalist. Sometimes people are just so intriguing, I just cannot walk away. Like I have to hear the conversation out. And then the women around me are like looking at my face or whatever, and they're looking at me with like the you okay, sis? He wasn't threatening or harmful in any way whatsoever. He was very joyful. It was a nice conversation. But I was also kind of like, is he a sociopath? He was very nice. I enjoyed his company, but I was also like, you need to stay 3 yards away from me at all times. That's not even what I wanted to talk about. I think I told y'all, like earlier this year, one of my friends had passed away. She had died from cancer. And we weren't on speaking terms when she passed. We hadn't spoken in years, like no hard feelings. I mean, by the time she had passed away, but we had a falling out because not important now, but there was a falling out. And we were really close at one point in time. And I thought about her many times because of what we fell out over. It's not something that I felt could be rectified. I had made peace then and now with the decision to pull back from the friendship for obvious reasons. Like, I didn't want her to be in poor health and I didn't want her to pass away. And my thoughts and heart had softened over time that, like, I wondered how she was. I wished her the best. We just couldn't be friends again. But I got word from a guy she used to date, a mutual friend, that she had passed away. And so she'd been really heavy on my mind. So fast forward a couple of months later, and I'm in New Orleans and I run into another friend, a guy, and we've been cool since college and we had had a disagreement. I valued him and I valued our friendship very deeply. It's like a brother. And we'd had a disagreement and I'd gone to him and said like, "Hey, this is how I feel about XYZ. I don't like it when this happens and like I need you to not do that." And he basically brushed me off. And I was like, "Well then, okay, like this is not what I wanted, but we have to go our separate ways because I can't allow you to behave that way with me." So that happened years ago. I ran into him walking down the street and we had like a brief exchange. And I remembered in this, the 3 minute exchange, like the banter between us. And I was like, oh, this is why I love this dude. Not past tense, present. He was like, hey, I reached out and you didn't respond. Like I tried to mend this. This is on you at this point. And I was like, that never happened. 5 minutes later, he sends me a text and he was like, see above. I acknowledged that he was right and I was wrong, which when he knew me about 5 years ago was not something that I would do. I might say you got that. I might say you're right. But me saying I'm wrong, not the best trait, but one that I carried. But I said to him this time, and I was like, you're right, I was wrong. And then he followed up and he was like, I know that we haven't spoken in a long time, but I miss you. And like I take accountability. I apologize for my role and the way that things went left between us. I could have handled that differently. And I apologized in turn. And I was like, I came to you and I spoke to you about what was wrong and perhaps I didn't handle it and speak to you in the best of ways when I was, telling you what my concerns were. So I was like, I apologize as well. So then it was like, well, okay, well, that's that. That was like a month ago. Me and this dude have been like inseparable ever since. It's like the whole rift never happened. We're back to normal and it feels good. And I've thought a lot about this reconciliation. And I think one of the things that enabled it, in addition to, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't like a violation. It wasn't like a betrayal. It wasn't something that couldn't have been gotten over. It was just frustrating in the moment. And I think we're both prideful and stubborn people. But my friend's passing really had a profound effect on me. Last time I went to South Africa, like I kind of thought it was decadent. There was no real reason to be there. I'd already lived in Johannesburg. I hadn't had a chance to live in Cape Town. And my thought process was, oh, at some point I'll do it. And then like my friend passes, she's in her 40s. She was a year younger than me. And I was just thinking like, you think you'll have I'll just get to it. I'll do it next year. I'll get around to it. And then You don't have the chance to. So I'll book this ticket and I'll live this life. And the same thing with like being back this summer. And I was like, I want to do this and do this and do this and do this and all these things that I've missed while I've been abroad. But also, because what if I don't get a chance to do them again? So my friend dies, and then I reconcile with another friend. And I recognize that part of the reason for this reconciliation is because we both had a chance to grow up, grow up further. We were both well into our 30s when we had this disagreement, but grow up further and mature and just have different perspectives on life and what's important and who is important. So last night I'm at this party and I'm sitting at the table with CEO and his wife. He just finished his set. And this woman walks by. She has super wavy bronze hair, pulled back into a low bun. And it's the same hair that my friend used to have, the one who passed away. I just see the hair and I almost called her name thinking that this woman was her. And then I had this split second realization that it'll never be her because my friend is dead and will never have an opportunity in the same way that like my guy friend to like, I don't know, have growth, have maturity, have a real conversation about what went left and like why this rift happened between us and frankly like why she would do to me what she did. I found out about it and I was like, I'm done. Four facts. What happened, happened. And like, I don't need you to explain why you did it. There's no justification that could have made sense. But then I realized like last night when I thought it was her, how excited I was that it could have been. And then realized that like, I'll never get a chance to see her again. And even the explanation that I thought that I didn't need, like the why doesn't matter. I realized there's still a part of me that wanted to know and will never get that answer. I had this moment in the middle of the club, and it was in the middle of a sexy red set at that. So the club is going up. So I had to like stifle this sob in my throat because I realized like, there's someone I missed and I'll always miss them. There'll never be a resolution to that. Grief is I was gonna say a funny thing. It's not funny, it's just tricky. I've never cried over her passing. Very sad about it. I thought I had processed it. Like it's been months. And last night at a party, like just it just hit me and I was like, oh my God. I've been thinking about this theme of like, I don't know, growing older, maturing, perspective changing, becoming not a different person, but maybe a better version, maybe a calmer person, maybe a more mature. I think that maybe will sum it up. Person. Watching Snoop at the Olympics. I know we talked about this before about Snoop gallivanting all around the Olympics and just being everywhere. That was at the beginning of the Olympics. Like he was there the whole way through, like dancing in the crowd, waving the flag, going swimming with Michael Phelps, hanging out with Martha Stewart. Snoop is afraid of horses, so he went to feed them like apples or something. Then he went to a restaurant with Martha Stewart. They looked high as shit. She was feeding him some desserts and he was eating it all slow and delicate and dainty like. And I was like, this man is high out his goddamn mind. I just watched Snoop and he's like, in his 50s. He's well preserved. He smokes good weed. His edges are laid. He's like, not even like America's uncle. He's like the world's uncle. Like everyone just loves Snoop. And I think about how so many people, like I thought about it at first in terms of Biggie and Pop, but just so many people don't get a chance to grow old. I know an unfortunate number of people that didn't live to see 45 or hell, 40. And all of them thought they had it forever, and they didn't. I take a lot of risks. I quit American life full time and went to move abroad. I'm living out the dreams of my 20-year-old self and also my 37-year-old self when I left New York. And I was like, this life, this one bedroom apartment in Brooklyn can't be it. I've done the wrong thing. This can't be my life. And there has to be more for me out there. And I took a real bet on myself and like decided to go figure out what that was. And I don't have any regrets about it. Obviously, I don't want to die tomorrow or die this year or die on a surgery table. Okay, quick. I had surgery earlier this year because I found a lump in my boob. I actually found it last year. They had it tested, did the biopsy. They said it's not cancer. But the lump grew and it's uncomfortable. So why don't we just take the whole thing out? So I had a surgery when I was in South Africa. When I abruptly went on hiatus for the podcast for 2 weeks, it's because I'd had surgery. When I stopped drinking, it's because I was preparing for surgery. And when I continued not drinking, it's because I'm still healing from the surgery. And I probably would have left the whole thing alone and probably dismissed it after the first biopsy. But I had it intentionally taken out because my friend died from cancer. When I tell you her death had a huge impact on me, I mean huge. But I say all that to say, not that I want to die tomorrow, but if I did, I think I would be okay with how I lived my life and how I would be remembered. I haven't done all the things that I've wanted to do, but I at least went on the path. Like I believed in myself enough to go try. I think that's half the battle. And I've lived long enough to make amends for many of my mistakes and put enough, I think, goodwill into the world that it's had an impact on people's lives. Over the last 10 days that I've been in the vineyard, because I feel like I found my core audience here, people have come up and said really wonderful things about the impact that my writing, my living, my podcast has had on their lives. So I feel like if I were to go, I would have left something good behind. That is not where I expected this podcast to go today. Jesus. You know that feeling when you get home from a long day and immediately want to take off your bra? Honeys, that's what we call sacrificing comfort. With Honey Love, you'll never experience that again. Their bras are so comfortable, you'll almost forget you're wearing them. You may even sleep in them. My favorite is Honey Love's best-selling crossover bra. So comfortable and so sure to be your new go-to. This bra gives all the support of traditional bras without using any underwires. Plus, mesh detailing adds a touch of sexy. This is the one bra you'll actually enjoy wearing and won't want to take off. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/ratchet. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/ratchet to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
I gotta watch what I say on here. I said something about Will Packer and Mrs. Packer on the last episode. Thank God it was complimentary. I'm just a huge fan of them both. But someone who listens to the podcast and knows Will Packer told him to go listen to the episode, and he did. And then he listened to the whole episode and then came and told me that he listened to it and enjoyed it. And I was like, oh my God, it's a love fest. It's a complete love fest. Last time we spoke, I had talked about, no, I was going to it. I was going to the premiere of Fight Night. I think last time I said it was a film. It's actually a limited series, but it's really, really, really good. We only saw the first episode. It's basically starring Kevin Hart as I wouldn't say a two-bit, but I would say as a low-level hustler in Atlanta, trying to go big time, trying to go bigger. But Kevin Hart is really good. I like him better in dramas than I do in comedies. Remember that movie he did with Wesley Snipes? And then the other one, he was like a single dad. I think his little girl was named Maddie, at least in the film. I thought he was wonderful. My father thinks Kevin Hart is so funny. He's like, oh, the little guy. I want to see the movies with the little guy. He's so funny. Kevin Hart's stand-up does nothing for me. Kevin Hart is a dramatic actor. Amazing. So much range. Taraji P. Henson is his girlfriend in the film. She was really amazing. Don Cheadle's in it. Samuel L. Jackson. Why can't I remember this man's name? Lucius. What is his name? Terrence Howard, man. He's playing the same damn character. He's a pimp again, I think. He has hair like a pimp, so I assumed he was a pimp. But the movie is based on a real life heist that happened in Atlanta, I want to say in the 70s. Muhammad Ali was doing some off the grid fight and somebody tries to rob the party. I think the whole first episode is a setup, so we don't actually see what happens, but it's really good. It sets up the story really well. When the show goes dark at the end of first episode, the whole audience was like, wait, what now? No, because we wanted more. So hopefully they don't piece this out. It's on Peacock. I'm trying to think how Peacock releases shows. Peacock has Bel Air, which actually comes back tomorrow, I think. I love Bel Air. We are recapping Bel Air, just FYI. Somebody asked me last night and they were like, can you recap a show? I don't care what the show is. Bel Air's been off. Reasonable Doubt is off. Gilded Age is off. There's been nothing on because summer. All the good shows are gone in summer. But you know how I feel about Bel Air and them damn kids. And also Reasonable Doubt. Morris Chestnut is joining the cast. I can't wait. I think that's later this month too. I want to say with Bel Air, they dropped like the first 2 episodes and then it's weekly after that. And I was like, no, 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 no. I need y'all to drop Fight Night. I need y'all to drop it all at once. The streamers got us accustomed to binging shows and then they took the binge away. No, that's not what we like. We want to watch it all at once. I say all that to say Fight Night was really, really good. Like really good. Good acting, good production, money spent. There's a period piece. The guy playing Ali, it's weird. He looks nothing like Ali because he's very brown, and Muhammad Ali is just, he's a light skinned man. Also, like we've seen 50 million pictures of him, so it's like we know what he looks like very, very well. And then the actor looks absolutely nothing like him. Like he's a distinctly brown person. But he has Ali's voice and cadence down pat and his mannerisms. So I was like, I totally get why you were hired. It's just a little jarring at first because you see this very brown skinned man sounding like Ali and he's being called Ali and you like, he looks nothing like Ali. There was something else I wanted to say about that. Oh, Chloe Bailey. She's in it, but she wasn't in the first episode. But they had a talk back with the cast. Chloe Bailey was on the stage, but she literally spoke once. She's so, how do I want to say this? She's lovable and likable and extraordinarily talented, full stop. And in addition to, she's so PR trained. It's Beyonce's publicist. She's so PR trained that sometimes she seems robotic and completely inauthentic versus everyone else on the stage. Like it's Don Cheadle, Will Packer, Taraji P. Henson, the director of the film whose name escapes me. But they were all just like, normal. They were chatty. They were, I don't know. They've also been in the game a really long time and are super comfortable. Speaking of people who are super comfortable on stage, Will Packer, I swear this is not a Will Packer fan podcast, but that man is funny as fuck. I don't understand how he became a behind the scenes person because technically that's kind of what producers are. Although he's not really a behind the scenes person because we see him all the time. Like he literally has cameras following him around. I imagine he's got a documentary going. He doesn't strike me as someone vain enough just to have cameras follow him around just for stuff to post on Instagram. I imagine there's a bigger something coming along. But he had his cameras following him while he was here on the vineyard. He likes to be seen, and I enjoy seeing him. That man enjoys life. So at the film festival, it starts with an interview just with Will Packer, and then we do the screening, and then we do the talk back with the cast. But it's a full, I would say 30 minutes minimum with Will Packer, moderated by Danielle Cadet. She did a really good job. He is just funny as hell. He is witty. I wonder if he ever thought about being an actor or even a comedian. He just has a wit and a comfortableness on stage that everybody doesn't have. I really enjoy him. Like, he's just fun. Tyler Perry was popping his shit the other day. I think I screenshotted it. Did I? Did I? I think I did. I did. So, Divorced in Black, Tyler Perry posted, the film has accumulated 93.2 million minutes watched during the week of July 26th, its third week on Prime Video. The film debuted on Nielsen rankings last week at number 3 on its movies chart with 498 million minutes watched. Through its first 3 weeks on the service, Tyler Perry's Divorced in Black has driven more Prime Video signups in the US than any Amazon MGM Studios produced movies to date. We talk a lot of shit about Tyler Perry, and rightfully so at times. The man makes money. And even more important than that, the money is important, full stop. And there is an audience that loves Tyler Perry films. He did an article. What did he call us? Bougie Negroes? What did Tyler Perry call us? And I say us as in the people that don't like Tyler Perry films. Was it bougie Negroes? Uppity Negroes? Highbrow Negroes. Reading this on the Griot, it says Tyler Perry calls out highbrow Negroes who criticize his films. This happened like almost a month ago. We just didn't talk about it. But somebody asked Tyler Perry about people that criticize his films. He said, I know for a fact that what I'm doing is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Because for everyone who is a critic, I have thousands of used to be emails from people saying, this changed my life. Oh my God, you know me. Oh my God, you saw me. How did you know this about my life and my family? So that's what's important. He is aware that his most recent film, Divorced in Black, earned a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Tyler Perry responded. He said, my movies are for fans who cannot get in the Volvo and go to therapy on the weekend. So you've got this highbrow Negro who was all up in the air with his nose up, looking at everything. And then you got people like where I come from and me who are grinders, who really know what it's like, whose mothers were caregivers for white kids and were maids, housekeepers, beauticians. Don't discount these people and say their stories don't matter. Who are you to be able to say which Black story is important or should be told? Get out of here with that bullshit. Mr. Perry, Mr. Perry. I say that respectfully, Mr. Perry, because you know how I am about Tyler Perry. I respect how he uses the money that he makes from the films that he does. The issue is not the stories. The issue, sir, because we're not peers, sir, Mr. Perry, is the storytelling. I'm not going to belabor the point because we've spoken about this on many occasions. He does this. He does this very often when he's responding to his critics. He'll be like, you're upset about XYZ, and be like, no, that's not what we're upset about. The problem is not that you talk about beauticians. We don't care that there's a story about beauticians. We don't care if it's a story about a mechanic. In fact, many of his stories are about highbrow Negroes. That's not our concern. Nobody had an issue in like the most recent Divorce in Black. Nobody had an issue that the husband was poor or the husband came from like quote unquote the wrong side of the tracks. The issue, Mr. Perry, was the storytelling. I did read that he has hired writers. He said that he trained them to tell the stories the way that he wants them told. So I don't know how that's going to bid for the actual storytelling. But the man does make money and the man does get eyeballs to the screen. We always talk on here about voting with your eyeballs. We vote with our clicks. We all complain about it and we go and hate watch it. That's how he ends up with hundreds of millions of minutes watched. There was something else. Oh, I see away luggage a lot when I travel. And as much as I love its looks, I prefer soft side suitcases and always wished Away made one. Well, guess what? Now they do. This suitcase seriously looks better than any old school soft side suitcases I've seen, and it's designed to be lighter than others on the market. Softside comes in 4 of Away's best-selling sizes and tried and true colors. There is something for everyone in the lineup. 2 carry-on sizes, 2 check sizes, and 4 colors. Black, blue, pink, my personal favorite, and gray. Made from a high-strength nylon, the bag is tear-resistant as well as weather-resistant. I've spilled things on the gray one before and can confirm the claim holds up. The bag is soft but not sensitive, super durable, flexible, and expandable. Bonus points for the compression pad system that helps you pack it all in, and the anti-tipping stabilizer that holds the bag steady while expanded, both of which are proprietary to Away. I am so excited about my new soft side luggage. I have been waiting for this, and it's finally here. you got to check out the new soft side luggage from Away. Head on over to awaytravel.com/ratchet. That's awaytravel.com/ratchet to see the new soft side luggage from Away. awaytravel.com/ratchet. I know that none of you watch porn, but just in case you have any friends that do, help me pass along this important PSA. Incognito mode does not make you incognito. Check the fine print. All your late night activities are still 100% visible to a ton of third parties, unless you use ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/ratchet. That's expressvpn.com/ratchet. And you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/ratchet. I feel like we need to talk about it, and I'm going to pretend to be outraged because, it's something that we actually should be outraged about. The New York Times reported that on multiple occasions, people close to Donald Trump had heard him referred to Kamala Harris as a bitch. The story is inside the worst 3 weeks of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. Two different people have reported that he called her a bitch repeatedly in private, and they've heard the remark on two different occasions. Trump's spokesperson says, quote, "That is not language President Trump has used to describe Kamala. Vice President Harris, not Kamala. Thank you. And it's not how the campaign would characterize her." Really? Really? Because you characterize her as everything else. I 110% absolutely believe that he's called her a bitch and worse. I believe he's had full meltdown rants, and he probably called her the N-word too. Nothing is beneath him. Do you remember this? Maybe like 2 and change months ago, the NDAs were up for The Apprentice, and one of the producers from The Apprentice was talking about the first season of the show where Kwame, the black dude, everyone expected him to win, but the win went to the white person instead. The producer talked about how behind the scenes they'd had a conversation with Trump, and they were like, Kwame is the obvious winner here. And Trump said back to them, like, is America going to accept a nigger winning? Let me see if I can pull that up, because that's something crazy to say without being like, I read it at this valid source. Bill Pruitt, he wrote an essay for Slate, May 30th, 2024. The headline is "The Donald Trump I Saw on The Apprentice." It says, "For 20 years, I couldn't say what I watched the former president do on the set of the show that changed everything. Now I can." He said The Apprentice was an instant success. It elevated Donald J. Trump from sleazy New York tabloid hustler to respectable household name. In the show, he appeared to demonstrate impeccable business instincts and unparalleled wealth, even though his businesses had barely survived multiple bankruptcies and faced yet another when he was cast. By carefully misleading viewers about Trump, his wealth, his stature, his character, and his intent, the competition reality show set about an American fraud that would balloon beyond its creator's wildest imaginations. I should know. I was one of 4 producers involved in the first 2 seasons. During that time, I signed an expansive non-disclosure agreement that promised a fine of $5 million and even jail time if I were ever to divulge what actually happened. It expired this year. He goes on to say that back then, Trump was, quote, "just as brash and whiny decades ago as he is now. He openly used the N-word to refer to the first season's black finalist and was dead set against crowning him the victor." The contestant in question was Kwame Jackson, a black Wall Street banker who worked at Goldman Sachs. In the final episode of the season, Jackson was pitted against Bill Rancic, a white entrepreneur from Chicago who owned a cigar business. While the producers were legally barred from telling Trump which contestant to choose as the winner, they skirted an FCC penalty by having weekly backroom sessions with the billionaire, all recorded on tape, in which they weighed the pros and cons. While discussing Jackson and Rancic's performances, people began to advocate for Kwame Jackson. Pruitt describes Trump as wincing multiple times while trying to draw out Jackson's weaknesses. The producer describes that Trump conceded that Jackson was the better candidate, but then added, quote, "Would America buy a nigger winning?" The producer reports the rest of the room was stunned by Trump's casual use of the slur. The producer says he was shocked that Trump was serious and so direct about not selecting Jackson as the winner just because he was black, and that Trump seemed to have no reservations about letting the N word fly in a meeting recorded on tape. Where is this tape? Are they waiting for like a November surprise? Like, where's this tape? Not that I think it would particularly sway anyone. I feel like if you're voting for Trump at this point, then you're okay with racism. Him dropping an N-bomb wouldn't be like, oh my God, I didn't know he was a racist. I'm back on Daily Beast again. They're reporting over the years, several people who have crossed paths with Trump have alleged that they heard him use the N-word, including Omarosa, who wrote in her 2018 memoir that there were multiple instances during the filming of Apprentice in which Trump was caught on tape muttering the word. Although Omarosa did not claim to hear Trump say the word herself, she swore that the tapes were real. In 2020, Mary Trump, the former president's niece, told Rachel Maddow that she too had heard her uncle use the N-word as well as anti-Semitic slurs. So I say all that to say, I'm not the least bit surprised that the New York Times is reporting that Trump has been calling Kamala Harris a bitch. I'm going to act shocked and outraged because that's what you're supposed to do. The B word is a really horrible word. It's okay to use with your girlfriends if y'all are all okay with that. But if you're not, then it's a really terrible thing to say. To speak that way as the former president about the sitting vice president is especially heinous. I'm going to act outraged because it is something that should be outrageous, but I also have to throw hip hop under the bus a little bit right here. I'm so used to men referring to women as bitches in music that I really had to be like, oh no, actually calling a woman a bitch is actually a really, really bad thing and should never be done, especially by a man. I really had to think about it because I'm just so used to hearing it. It's been normalized to a degree. Calling a woman a bitch, it's very sexist, but it doesn't have nearly the same outrage as using, say, like an ethnic slur, as like a white person dropping an N-bomb with a hard ER on a black person. In terms of sexism, bitch should carry that level of weight, and yet does not.
I'm Louie, aka the baddest perra.
And I'm Yoatzi.
And we're siblings. We might not be the most intelligent.
Or the smartest.
Or inteligentes.
You just said that.
Oh, yeah. But at least we're pretty. You may have seen our viral challenge videos, Mexican food mukbangs, and family vlogs. But did you know we're also the hosts of the podcast Pretty Not Smart?
On our show, we expose all the chisme in our lives, from our wildest dating stories to childhood feuds to our scary ghost stories.
But don't worry, it's not all drama all the time. We discuss financial hardship, the importance of taking care of your mental health, and our experiences dealing with complicated family relationships.
Because we're siblings, we know each other better than anyone, which means we also know how to beef with each other like it's nobody's business.
Who doesn't love listening in on a little sibling conflict?
We've also had some amazing guests join the show, like YouTubers Adam Ray and Laura Mellado, and so many more.
At the end of the day, I'm happy to be the pretty one and Yoatzi the smart one.
No, it's definitely the other way around.
And who told you that lie?
Ask the audience.
So if you want to hear the juicy perspectives of two pretty siblings, tune into Pretty Not Smart.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Is there anything else super important for us to talk about this week? I haven't been super tapped in. I told y'all, I've been gallivanting. Two things worth mentioning. One is good black news. The other is I'm black and it's good news to me. So we're calling it good black news. Anthony Bourdain is getting a biopic. They started casting. The person they cast I never heard about before in my life. But if he can act, then fine. I just need this to go global. This film needs to go all over the world. No budget should be spared. I want them to go everywhere for this film. Don't just keep it in the States and focus on him growing up and his backstory as a chef and all of those things. I need us to go all over the world with Anthony Bourdain. Please, blow the budget on this one. If you're going to do it right. If not, then we can just watch old episodes of the show. There's enough footage. The other thing, Supercell. Remember I was raving about Supercell? It was number one in 20 countries around the world. It should have been a no-brainer for it to get picked up for season 2. But it's a black show. It's actually a British show, so it's not affected by America and its DEI shit right now. But you just never know with black stuff. Like, it could be number one, it could be beloved, it could be making a shit ton of money, and then studios would just not pick it up and be like, oh, audiences weren't interested. And we'd be like, what, huh? What? See Underground for reference. See Lovecraft Country for reference. There's so many more. Those are just the two that pop in my head. But yeah. But with Supercell, I cannot wait. I loved Supercell. I've raved about Supercell, so I'm super excited. And Anthony Bourdain, when I heard he died, I cried like it was a relative. Like, I was devastated. He's another person. I make really significant life choices based on Anthony Bourdain. I probably wouldn't travel, not the way that I do. Like, want to try everything. All right. I'm about to put my life together and then go to the airport and get on a flight and go back to DC. I'll be there for another 2 weeks and then I'm off to South Africa. That's the episode. We'll talk again on Friday. Okay? Talk soon. Bye.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. Like, I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those like lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.